It's April 2023, and I'm visiting Cottonwood Canyon State Park in north central Oregon. This is the high desert, and it's a very arid region. It's a very open landscape that tends to have very few trees. The vegetation that's here tends to be plants like mesquite that require very little water. The John Day River flows through the park, and indeed it carved out the land and created the canyon. The river has headwaters high in the Cascades, and spring runoff from the mountains has created the high water levels and the swift currents that we see for the river here. The park is located just off of Oregon Highway 206 and lies about 40 miles east of the Dalles, Oregon, and about 10 miles south of the Columbia River. This section of Highway 206 heads down a small side canyon that leads to the park entrance and the John Day River. The entrance road curves to the east and then goes under the bridge that crosses the John Day River. The road goes parallel to the river, and just to the right you can see the river here. Shortly after entering the park, you'll find a visitor center that includes some old farm machinery and buildings from the days when Cottonwood Canyon was a working farm and ranch. The old farm items include an antique tractor, a windmill, an old barn containing various farm implements and tools, a grain drill for planting wheat, a thresher for separating wheat grain from the shaft and hull, and an old Ford flatbed stake truck. Continuing down the park road, the Lone Tree Campground lies directly ahead. Cottonwood Canyon is the newest park in the Oregon State Park system. It was established in 2013. Grass and trees have been planted throughout the campground, and they're maintained by sprinklers and other irrigation in this arid area. Nonetheless, the trees are still relatively young, and they don't provide a lot of shelter, so the campground seems quite open. But in that respect, the campground is somewhat similar to the surrounding landscape. With my van backed into my campsite, I'm ready to look around and begin to explore the campground. There are a number of trails that can be used to explore the park, either on foot or by bike. I started out walking on the Willow Flats Trail, which runs along the John Day River on the south side of the campground. To look around more of the park, I got on my bike and returned to the Willow Flats Trail. I also used my bike on the Pinnacles Trail, which heads east from the campground and travels along the John Day River. I think this is a really nice trail, offering great views of the river and the towering, spectacular cliffs and hills on either side of the river. A short distance down the trail, there's a viewpoint with a bench that beckons the visitor to stop and enjoy the scenery. This section of the trail is perched on a ledge above the river and immediately beside high rocky cliffs. Sometimes the trail even travels under overhanging cliffs. At about 3 miles down the trail, I noticed these interesting round rock forms on the opposite side of the river. It occurred to me that these might be considered pinnacles and were therefore the source of the name of the trail. I haven't been able to confirm that, but it seems at least a possibility. In any case, this seems like a good place to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it.